Hello, I am here with Diana Spellman from Serenely Sorted, who is one of my most recent Facebook friends that I've met. I'm just loving meeting all these Facebook friends at the moment. I'm just gathering people from all over the world. It's fantastic. So I met Diana in a Facebook group probably 2 weeks ago and was immediately attracted to what she does, which is helps people with strategies to stay tidier and to live a sort of neater and more organized life. And her business name, Serenely Sorted, just really appealed to me that it's so visual, you know, it's just that instant image of serenely sorted. I love it, it's great. So I'm going to hand over to Diana and let you explain what you do and how it's definitely how it applies to what we do, which is, or what I teach, which is building businesses, because I do believe that to have the headspace to create the business you want and to be productive and to get through the things you want to do in the day, there's such a big element there of having the headspace in terms of a tidy space to work in and feeling organized and feeling on top of things. So I will hand over to Diana.
Well, you know, that what you just said is really hit the nail on the head, because that was exactly, you know, if I just talk a little bit about how the whole concept came to me, it's exactly what you've just said, which is that, you know, I've led a corporate career for sort of over 20 years, but for the past 3 years I've worked from home. Okay, so and I'm very good about getting focused on my work, and but you know, with 2 young children, a lot of stuff going on, you know, in our lives as it does, what I found was that I had this nagging thing in my head the whole time about there's this pile of stuff, there's that pile of stuff, because I am not a naturally tidy person. In fact, in my relationship, my husband is the one that sort of loves to have those clean lines in the kitchen, and you know, I love it too, but my natural tendency is to, you know, come in, put my handbag on a chair, the bills or the paperwork comes in, I just create a nice little pile, and then, you know, another pile develops. And there was this bookcase in our kitchen that was just piles on top of the books and in front and all of that. So this nagging thing in my head would always be on me, and it just wouldn't go away. So every Friday, I didn't work on Fridays, I'd be really annoyed, and that I would spend my day tidying because and I felt that was robbed time. I'm not those kind of people that love tidying. Some people do, and that's fantastic. It's a chore to me, and I do not want to do it, but I love having the organized home. I love the outcome of it. So basically I sort of got to thinking, and in my corporate career I've worked in systems and process improvement, efficiencies, project management, and I don't know, it just sort of started to come to me, and there's a few penny drop moments. One was I sort of realized if I came into my home and didn't dump my handbag on the chair, but actually put it in a basket that I had predefined as its end home, then this is how I can claim that my system, and not just claim, it does, eliminates mess, because I don't create it in the first place. And that is a big difference. And it's about behavior, it's about a mindset. And once you've got that mindset, you sort of can't go back from it. And that's what people say when they learn the system. It's like, oh gosh, and it seems so obvious, but no, it doesn't, you know. And whoever taught us how to tidy or gave us this training? No one. You just sort of expected to just tidy up, and that's why we generally do it quite badly.
I love that, because it literally takes another 2 seconds to put your handbag 2 steps further away in its designated place, but yet we don't do it. We just, you know, there's so much of creating mess that's so mindless. We're not mindful at all of what we're doing, and like those 2-second habits, if you can change them, make such a big difference. But if you continue doing them at the end of the week or the end of the month, or whenever it gets so much that you have to tidy up, then it equates to hours that you waste.
Exactly. And again, so, you know, for example, the pile of papers, everyone's got this big pile of papers, or several, that, you know, they don't know what to do with, they just get out of control. Even a friend of mine had a story where, like, there was a bill in that pile that wasn't paid because each person thought the other one had done it, which caused a massive problem. And this happens, you know, because of that pile of paper. And I've got quite a good approach for that eliminates that pile of paper. And I can honestly tell you, since like last August, when I implemented that system into our home, there are no piles anywhere. And that is astonishing to me, let alone anyone else. It really does work, you know. So yeah, like so that was what happened. I developed gradually, and the sort of name came to me. And I love that you love it, because that's exactly the feeling I want people to have, is it's that mindset is free of that nagging tidiness requirement, and you're feeling serene and you're sorted. And that is what happens. I mean, I'm not telling you that I never have to tidy. Of course, there is a tidying element that everyone has to do, because particularly at the moment with homeschooling or working from home, but my techniques are to, yeah, exactly, but to get you back to tidy super fast as you possibly can, because of the systems that I've created. And so lockdown happened, and basically I was doing this as a sort of side hustle. I'd run a few what I call Serenely Sorted soirees, where people come, think Tupperware party but for tidying, you know, and people come to my home and we talk about the techniques. We show them a few examples from my home, and that really got a lot of traction, and people, it really resonated with those people who came. And then sort of soon after, kind of lockdown happened, and my corporate contract basically got cancelled, which was, you know, devastating financially, but it actually gave me that opportunity to go for it. And I'd wanted to do that, but there's no way I would have said, oh no, I will not take this corporate contract. I will, you know, because that's a too big a risk it was, but it's just happened. So, and I'm loving it. You know, I'm absolutely loving focusing on it, because it is really true. And I liked in your your early phases of the course, where you say, you know, think really carefully about what you choose to build your business on. Make sure it's something that you love, because, you know, I don't feel like I'm working. I mean, I know that's a cliche, and there's always going to be elements of what you need to do for even your passion that are out of your comfort zone. But I'm just delighted and loving every step forward I'm taking. I mean, to be quite honest, I haven't actually monetized this yet, because I've had to put quite a lot of work in initially to website and to getting my course online, because of course now I can't do it face to face. So there's a lot of technical things and recording and things you've got to do. But I'm literally at the point now of launching, you know, making it available. So I do have something available for people to buy, which is my Learn the Serenely Sorted online course. And you know, it's just great. Like, I'm really enjoying it, all of it, you know. So yeah,
that's I quite like that process, that you have taken your time to build it and make sure it's something that you love and that you're passionate about and you care about, and you sort of slowly piecing it together. And what I really love is that you're building momentum around it. You're building your audience, and you're building a network, and you're getting some PR, and you kind of building, you're creating a movement, really. And then the next step is to monetize it. I think that is so often such a smart way to do it, to launch a business. It's just to get that groundwork in first, to get all your basics in place, and to get a bit of interest and generate a little bit of energy around it. And then when you do launch it, people are ready. They're like, oh, I can't wait. Like,
yeah, well, I hope so.
I did this.
I mean, there's a lot of work to do. I mean, my following's still quite small, but I know it does resonate with the people who have seen my live sessions, and they're like, oh yeah, you know, I can really get it. So what I'm passionate about now is getting towards the PR and really getting my message out. And I don't think that's going to be hard for me, because, you know, I do feel the passion for the topic, and you know, delighted to share it and to help people, you know, because it is about helping people free themselves from the drudgery of tidying. And like, I think there are a couple of small pockets of the population that either love organizing or are super chaotic in their lives, that, you know, you can't even open the door to their home. But then in the middle, there's this massive portion of people who just are just like you and me. They work, or they're busy. They've got so many other things on their plate, and that sort of constant messiness that's there adds to the stress, or what I call mess stress. And you know, that's what I'm there to help you take away. And the good thing is as well that you can do it in small steps. Although my course is quite long, I've split it up into small topics, so you can do a little bit at a time. And actually, even from lesson 1, you could go away and make a lot of changes, and slowly but surely, and see a huge change in what happens in your home, even from step 1. So it's very accessible.
Yeah, doable and manageable. And before we were recording, we were chatting about how it's not that sort of minimalist Marie Kondo style, like get rid of all your stuff and only have 3 of everything, and that's how you'll be more organized. It's much more about sort of, because I think a lot of people, that's too much of an overwhelming approach. It's a very sort of it's like taking a hard line against it all, where your approach is so much more about just work with what you've got. You know, like maybe you don't have 6 hours on a Sunday to clear out everything that's under the bed, but you can put simple strategies in place to stop creating so much chaos in your life. And
yeah, absolutely,
and it frees up your head so much when you don't have it hanging over you that there's this pile of stuff that you've got to sort through, and you don't know where that bill is that you put in that pile 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, because the system focuses first on the daily debris. So that's what I call the stuff that's on your surfaces in your kitchen or whatever, or those little piles that build up because end of the day you just sort of scrape everything to the side or whatever. It's that we focus on first, because if you haven't got that sorted, then you're never going to get to the stuff under the bed. Like even now, I've been following the system myself for, you know, a year or so, and now I'm like, okay, I'm ready to tackle the so-and-so, or, you know, things come around again, and I'm fine with that now. But I could never get to it before because there was still so much daily debris around the place that my head was full of that. So I could never think, oh, I'm going to now do that clearing out, or you know, getting rid of the kids' old clothes that don't fit them anymore or whatever. So it frees up your headspace basically to be able to do that in steps. Like I have a 5-step steps, and it's all the first 4 are about the daily debris, and then the last one is attack, where you can actually attack the stuff under the beds and what have you. But that really is phase 2. So it's turning everything on its head, from the Marie Kondo kind of decluttering to looking at your surfaces first and foremost, because I think that's what most people have an issue with.
Yeah, and that's what affects your daily life, not necessarily what's hidden in the cupboard or hidden under a bed. It's the stuff that you see every day. I love that. Yeah. Debris. That's another great term. That's brilliant. So
yeah, I love my alliteration.
Yeah,
as you'll know when you do the course.
Have you got any sort of client wins? I know you've been sharing some on Instagram. Some people who you've helped to put these strategies in place.
Yeah, I mean, so this is people who've done my early sort of face-to-face Serenely Sorted soirees, and I've talked to them in a series lately called Serenely Sorted Stories, which is to people who've taken on and used the system, or some of them who didn't even come to a soiree initially, but they've seen my Instagram and they've followed some of the processes. And I love it. I love hearing how it's impacted people's lives, and you know, in many different ways. Like my auntie, actually, she followed me because she thought you know, she wanted to support me, but she's just it just flicked a switch in her, and I think that the concept overall just made her, and now she has, because she's semi-retired, she has like a program for her days, and 4 hours of sort of planned activity, and one of those hours is to serenely sort. So it's like brought it into the sort of common, you know, terminology. It's an activity you can do, is to serenely sort or be a serene sorter, and it really, you know, so it affects people in different ways depending on, you know, their circumstance, from sort of busy parents through to empty nesters, or like somebody, June, who was one of my interviewees, and she, you know, she's been in the same kitchen for 25-30 years, but just discovering and using the space so much better now because of the way that we talk about how you can organize your cupboard space to maximize what space you have available. So that's been a really win from her. So you can take different aspects of it depending on what your priorities are as well.
That's fantastic. And it sounds like it's so much about just being intentional about what you do and where you put things and how you organize things, and being mindful about the way you do things instead of mindlessly just going and doing things where you've always done them, or leaving things that you've always left them, that sort of thing. So that's the part that really appeals to me with what I do, because obviously I'm so much about being intentional and carefully considering what gets to live in your not necessarily, well, not just your physical space, but in your headspace. So this is one thing, that if it doesn't live in your physical space, it won't live in your headspace, and it will free you up so much to do other things and just feel lighter when you, as for me as a business owner, to feel lighter about the way that I'm organizing everything. So do you have some sort of strategies that you could share with us, like 1 or 2 tips?
Yeah, I do actually. And this is just a sort of little tiny snippet of what the system is. And I've mentioned a few of the words already, but where everyone starts in the system is what you've got to do is identify your top mess makers. Okay, so for me, it was like my handbag, the pile of papers, things like my kids' kind of hair bobbles and things. They just get everywhere, you know. So your keys, your wallet, these kinds of things. And look at your surfaces and just analyze, what are your top mess makers? Or maybe you've got a mess zone, like I have my bookcase. What are all the things that you put on there that shouldn't be there? And then, you know, what you have to then do is to find end homes for these things that aren't on the surfaces. There's a place that they live, and they always live. And that's the real key, because now when I go to clear my surfaces, it's not like, oh God, you just shove it somewhere and that's what creates more mess, or you then can't find it. That's the other aspect. You put something somewhere and you can't find it. I actually ended up with 5 hairbrushes because I could never find it. So I'd end up buying another one because it'd be in some cupboard or underneath stuff. Now I do still have those 5 hairbrushes, but they're in my hairbrush end home and they never ever go anywhere else. I always know they're there. And so that's the key, is to have end homes for all of your main things that you use, your top 10 mess makers. And then the other thing is just get into that mindset. So whenever I'm clearing a space now, and one of the reasons it can be done so quickly is I don't just see stuff, I see things that have end homes. So it's like, if you imagine that in your mind, like, you know, the stapler has an end home in the basket by the table downstairs. You know, that the sunglasses live in my handbag basket because they're handbag stuff, you know. And so it's so quick to put things back because they just go back to their end homes, job done. I actually posted a video on my Instagram and Facebook this week of me clearing up. It was speeded up, but it took 1 minute 46 seconds to clear the table at the end of the day of all the stuff from the homeschooling, the work, the general living of that day, because obviously there's a lot more of that going on right now in the home. It's not so much stuff coming home from being at work, it's activities in the home. And 1 minute 46 seconds, I don't think that's too much trouble. But
yeah, when you put it that way, it definitely seems, you know, like, what can you do with 1 minute and 46 seconds of your life? That seems so doable. So I think that's a big part of the mindset, isn't it? Is to understand that it's only going to take you 1 minute and 46 seconds. What excuse do you have? Let's just get it done. And
an extra tip, this wasn't on my list actually, but it's also a thing that needs to be done as a family, or all the people in your household, because we did, there was an issue a couple of weeks ago where we hadn't agreed the end home for the kids' sort of timetable, which has all of their worksheets that come from school that they need to be doing, and the maths. And I put it in the school bags, but my husband expected to be in the basket with all the wires. And so we then had to agree the end home was this place. And once that, it's smooth as anything, you know, life is smooth after that point. There's no worries about where anything is, but you all do have to know where the end home is as a family, you know, to make sure it works properly as well.
You've actually just made me realize as well, like, how important this is to pass on to our kids, because our children, I mean, I wasn't taught to tidy. I don't think it's something I've ever consciously, I've tried to teach my kids, but I'm not that great at it. So
Yeah.
it's more like, I'll try a little bit and then I get irritated and do it myself. So it's actually such a great thing to pass on to them, to have strategies in place.
Do you know what? My daughter, she's a bit of a performer. She's 7. She'd love to be like, you know, she wants a YouTube channel, whatever, but obviously she's not going to get that. But I did say to her, if she started to properly do Serenely Sorted in her bedroom, she could help me launch Serenely Sorted Junior.
Ah, there's a good carrot for you.
That is a challenge, I have to say. Like, it's not something that's easy, and you've got to think about what age it would actually work. And then, of course, you can maybe engage with them, and then I think it dips down in the teenage years, and my friends have said as well. But maybe if you've caught them before that, you know, maybe we have a chance. But yeah, no, I think it definitely has benefits, and definitely our kids are tidier now, or they just know that each day they have to tidy up at the end of the day, like I do. They are involved in that, you know. It's not that we're doing it for them. They're charged with picking up the bits, the trainers, the socks from the lounge floor and things at the end of the day, to make sure it doesn't become that horrendous, you know, nightmare at the end of the week.
Not manageable anymore. Yeah, and they're taking responsibility for it, aren't they? It's not just like they wake up in the morning and everything's clean again, so they can go on. They're taking responsibility and they're accountable, and I'm sure some of those strategies will stick even if they do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying this is, you know, some perfect thing by any means, but
Nothing is.
It's something in development, that's for sure. You know, who knows?
Yes, but well done. I mean, to turn it into to go from having the problem yourself to solving the problem in such a concrete way is fantastic. Is, you know, brilliant. I love that you've applied your work, your previous career to it.
Yeah,
learning from that, and then to turn that into a business that you really love and you're passionate about and you want to share with people and teach people about. It's just, that's like the dream, isn't it?
it is, and it was quite lovely actually, because I sort of put it all out on a LinkedIn a few weeks ago, like and I got some lovely comments actually from my previous colleagues saying, like, this is the perfect business for you, and I can't imagine anyone else doing something like this as well as you. So that was really nice, because of the kind of things that they know I've done in my corporate job, and it kind of is very relatable. Like somebody said something like, oh, you were able to sort out a lot of messes on our global project, so if Diana can sort those out, she can definitely sort out your mess.
It's obviously got to do with your sort of personality and people skills as well, if they have confidence.
Yeah. I've done a lot of training in my time as well, so I know how to put together an accessible set of materials to help you do whatever it is, whether it be Excel or time management or other things, or Serenely Sorted. So in the training, the Learn the Serenely Sorted system, there's several sections. The first one is just to learn the concept and videos of various things. And then there's like how to apply it. And just everyone's so different in how they, you know, some people will be able to take that first section and just go with it. Other people can benefit from just a bit more structure. Other people like to write everything down. So I'm trying to sort of give people different sort of approaches, or a set of approaches, and see which one will work for them. But it's not that you must journal it all or write this down, or if it works all in your head, brilliant, you know. But if it helps to use the worksheets, you know, that's great. They're there as well. So
that's great. That's a good tip, actually, that you've got to do what works for you. I mean, as you know, you did my course, so I'm all about that. It's got to work for you. So
yeah, I've what's really helped as well is because I've been working on my sort of brand values and messaging, because again, that's really important, what language you're using about your business. And you know, I've got colleagues that I've worked with in the corporate world that have been helping me, but I really like your lesson 6, which is about your concise communications and the 4 squares. You can see I have been doing that. And that really helped me just think of it and then simplify my phrasing and wording, actually, like from less sort of here's my corporate strapline to what really relating to the individual person. And like I've now put on my website front page like a little message from me, like that this was my issue, and if you can relate to that issue, then this can help you, and much more bringing it more about the individual person and what will resonate with them. And that really that lesson was really beneficial.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
I'll be back when what I do makes a bit of an impact on someone.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's been great. I've still got a few more lessons to go, but it's almost helping me on my overall journey because I'm sort of within it, if you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, it's not an overnight thing. It's got to be a process, and it's something that you've got to revisit as well, because business
absolutely,
and it's a moving place. Yes.
Exactly.
So thank you so much, Diana. How can people get hold of you?
Okay, well, serenelysorted.com is there's a few pages still being prepared because my website is actually being fine-tuned this week, but that is where to go to find everything. And actually, because I'm hoping to launch my course next week, if you go to that website and choose Get Sorted, Learn Online, and you fill in your details there, then before I launch, there's and if you register there, you can get a 20% off my that voucher code that I will give you upon launch. So if you get there now before launch, which I could say is probably this weekend or early next week, so get in there quick and you can benefit from that. Obviously I'm on Instagram, and that's where you see everything looking as beautiful as it can, so serenely.sorted on Instagram, or of course I'm on Facebook as well. So all my information is also there. And basically I've done a lot of video stuff which is now on YouTube, so Serenely Sorted on YouTube too. But go to the website, you'll find everything there. If you go right to the bottom, there's a quick links button as well that gives you sort of the signpost to everything, and that's on my my Instagram as well. The link there takes you to this quick links page, where you can find everything basically.
Fantastic, thank you. That's great. So 20% off your course when it launches, and obviously if you sign up by that link, through that link, you'll get you'll be notified when the course is live, I'm sure.
Yeah.
As soon as you're ready to go, you'll be on the list. Absolutely,
yes. So get on there. I'm still, there's so much to learn when you're starting a business, like a massive. So we're all on the journey, but I think I'm doing pretty well. I'm going to give myself a tick for my progress so far, but always more to learn. I think, again, just a final point on your course, what I like is the minimalist side of it, and just the overall concept, meaning that don't feel like I've got a lot of ideas, but actually what your course has helped me is thinking, I'm just going to focus on this first step, because otherwise I'll just spread myself too thinly and I won't get anything done. So one step at a time, and there's your whole
in the 1 day box.
Exactly.
The 1 day end, what did you call it? End home. 1 day end home.
Exactly.
Fantastic. It's been so lovely to meet you and get to know you over the last week or so, or 2 weeks.
Yeah, you too.
And good luck with your business. I'm really watching your progress and seeing how your launch goes and seeing how it all goes. So yes, thank you for chatting to me.
And thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
We'll keep in touch.